Welcome to Coral Island, a fun and beautiful farming sim. This was recorded over the course of several streams, so without further ado, let's jump into spring. I spent some time creating my character, then jumped into the intro cutscene. I'll let past Khaleesi take you through it. Here we go. I'm excited, guys. Connor is the mayor. Hello, Khaleesi. Welcome back to Coral Island, your new home. It's been a long time, Khaleesi. Good to see you again. I can't remember the last time we had a visitor. I trust you had a wonderful journey with Mr. Wataru. What do I want to say? Do I want to do this? No, let's just do it safe and comfortable. Great, I expected nothing less from Mr. Wataru. He's the best sailor you could ask for. You must be quite tired from the journey. Let's head over to your new place. Okay. And here we are on the farm. The carpenters, Dinda and Joko, let us know that they have made our house partially livable, but we will need to upgrade it as soon as possible if we want more furniture than just a bed. They go on for a bit about their work and the town and their furniture store before passing us back to Mayor Connor. He tells us how excited everyone is to meet us, then shows us the full extent of our farm. It is massive and a massive mess. Once we have recovered from our shock, he shows us the shipping bin. Then he gives us our tools and tells us to get a good night's rest before day one of our Coral Island adventure. The next morning, we begin day one of spring year one by checking our mail and beginning to clear a spot for our seeds. Energy in this game goes down very quickly, so we have to keep an eye on that. After using the shipping bin as temporary storage, which is a key feature in this game, especially early before we have a chest, we finally gather enough materials for our first makeshift chest. Unlike other farm games, trash is a very important resource throughout the game. We return to clearing the farm and collecting resources after making the chests, while being mindful of the resources needed to upgrade our house, of which we are still short. Once we've cleared enough space, we will till the ground and start planting seeds. I do have to pause and eat to regain stamina before finishing planting, including the one wild seed we found, which could grow to be anything. After that, I've tried to gather the last of the stone required for upgrading my house, but needed to water my crops before I ran completely out of energy. Next, we head to the general store, foraging along the way. Once we reach the store, the mayor introduces us to Sam, the owner. I also talk to Ben, who happens to be in the store. I sell Sam my forage so I can buy some seeds. I plan on returning later for more seeds. I return to the farm and plant the seeds I purchased. After watering them and tilling and watering a few more spots and getting the last of the stone, I put some stuff away and head up to the carpenters, once again foraging along the way. Once I reach the carpenters, I look through the shop and the build menus before asking them to upgrade my house. I choose the style I want, and we all head back to the farm to do the upgrade. It looks like I'm going to be helping them with the upgrade. The floor and walls are fixed, along with some furniture being added. They tempt me to buy more furniture from their store in town, which is run by their cousins. Then they show me how the TV works, which is very easy. And then they head out, and I get my first quest reward. Then we head back to the general store to buy a few more seeds. We get some potatoes, carrots, and cauliflowers. I did some foraging on the way back, down below the store. I speak to Betty as well. She likes to hang out here by the little lanterns. Once I get back to the farm, I plant the last of my seeds. Due to my low energy, I decide to go on a foraging run to find anything edible. I explore through the forest, picking up what I can. I regret not being able to catch any bugs yet. I won't get the bug net or fishing rod for a few days. I find Kenny having a snack and I talk to him. I even find a chest with candied tree seeds, which is as good as gold in the early game. I speak to Waku by the observatory. As it gets darker, I continue to explore, being mindful of the time. I find another chest by the lake, and eventually we head back to the farm. I plant the few wild seeds that we found and water them. And after shipping and storing a few things, we head into bed. And that's the end of day 1. We managed to level up our foraging, which unlocks candied tree seeds, which is amazing. We only made 80 gold today selling a couple of mushrooms, but overall, great first day. As day 2 dawns, we once again check our mail and do the daunting task of watering our crops. After that, we head into town to meet people. The first person we find is Chaim, although I'm not certain on the pronunciation of her name. Then I find Yuri, our green-haired doctor who hates flowers. Emily and Lily I find near the general store. Erica is in the town square, along with Alice. I adore Alice and choose her to romance. Nearby is Taco, one of the dogs. Also in the square are Millie, Oliver, Randy, the teacher, Archie, Valentina, and Zoe. Then I went into the general store to speak to Eva, the baker, whose name is short for Everest. Then I found Raj at his coffee stand, followed by Bon Bon the dog, and finally the beautiful Leia, completing the meeting people quest. After which, I made a flower bouquet as prompted, and gave it right to Leia. I decided to continue meeting people, and came across Dippa painting by the river. In the blacksmith, I met Pablo. His brother Raphael was just outside. That was all I could find as I headed back to my farm, to clean it up with the rest of my energy. I even managed to find my first coffer, which is like a treasure chest, which can be opened by the blacksmith. I also found a geode, just as I was running out of energy and inventory space. Just before bed, I planted the wild seeds that I had found while clearing. And finally, we headed to bed. And that's the end of day 2. Once again, made 80 gold selling 2 mushrooms. And let's jump right into day 3. On day 3, we are lucky enough to get rain. We check the mail and discover that we can finally get the bug net and fishing rod. I spend some time clearing the farm in order to kill time until the beach shack opens, which we think is at 9 a.m. Once it's late enough, we head down to the beach. So excited for the new tools. Inside the beach shack, we are greeted by Sunny and Eleanor. They are arguing about which tool they should give us first. They ask which I prefer, fishing or bug catching, to which I answer bug catching, since I find it more fun in this game. Once the scene is over, they hand me the tools. Then I make my way into town, with the end goal being the blacksmith, but I end up getting a fish from the trash next to the museum, so I stop in. In the museum, I am greeted by an upset Scott. He apologizes for the lackluster state of the museum, as all the exhibits were sold off to pay the town's debt. He asks us to bring him anything interesting to fill the museum, and we wholeheartedly agree. I quickly donate the fish I found, before heading right back out. Then we continue to the blacksmith. Once there, we open our 2 coffers and 1 geode. One of the coffers contains only glass, but the other contains an artifact to be donated, as does the geode. We then do some fishing in the river. We struggle with our first fish. After a good long battle, we end up with a barramundi, one of the rarer fish. Now, with a full inventory, we head back to the museum to donate the 2 artifacts and the fish. It looks like we are 1 donation short of our first reward. We pick another fishing spot near our farm and manage to catch a zebrafish and a crayfish before once again having a full inventory and heading back to the museum. This time, we get our first reward, which is a candied tree seed. We catch our first bug, which turns out to be a snail. Then we overexert ourselves, catching a snail we nearly scared away. And then eventually, with little else to show for the day, we head to bed. And that's the end of day 3. We leveled up foraging again, unlocking the kiln. We made a bit more money, 130 gold, selling shells, mushrooms, and a single snail. The next morning, we wake up and need to water our plants once again. Hopefully soon some of the crops will be ready. Once the farm is taken care of, we head out to explore. On the beach, we meet Theo. Then we pick a nice ocean spot to fish. We catch a blue tang and a couple of flyers before heading off to find a new spot to fish. On the way, we meet Zara, another new villager. Next, we meet Jim. He works at the beach shack and loves wasabi. As we head into town, we notice a commotion. Let's hear my reaction at the time. Pufferfish. Yeah, the bad guys. They were responsible for the oil spill, so that's why everyone hates them. Big corporation. Macy over here taking pictures. Yeah. Okay. Magnificent oil town. Aw, people do care about the island. Okay. Some good music. Yeah. Finally, we reach a new spot to fish. We catch a pink snapper and another pink snapper. Then we head off and meet Frank. Then we make a pit stop at the museum to donate the 2 fish that we caught today. After a brief stop back at the farm, I headed out to catch bugs, managing to catch a pus moth, notoriously difficult in the early game, and then a harpus beetle a bit later. We came across Alea down by the lake. Then I found a nice spot to fish by the lake, where we caught a red snapper, which unfortunately filled the last inventory spot we had. So we went quickly to drop the bugs and fish we had caught off at the museum, which earned us a reward of potato seeds. And triggered a cutscene with Scott due to being our 10th donation. He explains to us his plans for expanding the museum. He shows us his vision for each section of the museum. He tells us he intends to start a Kickstarter campaign to raise the funds. He then tells us how we can help, simply by gathering more critters and artifacts. Upon returning home, we went ahead and planted the potato seeds we had received, not forgetting to water them. After that, I decided to head to one of my favorite fishing spots. We caught a zebrafish and another zebrafish before deciding to abandon the spot. After returning home with a full inventory, I decided to stick around and clear out the farm for the rest of the evening until I ran out of energy, remembering to plant my wild seeds as well, before finally heading off to bed. And that's the end of day 4. I made 224 gold, a new record, by selling some shells, mushrooms, and fish. The bronze starfish were particularly good. Day 5, we wake up to Mark outside our door, reluctantly telling us the mines are now open, and letting us know about the Band of Smiles, which are an adventuring group. Once he's gone, I see a crow steal one of my crops, and the game prompts me to make a scarecrow. But before I do that, I harvest all of my crops, including turnips, peonies, and daisies. We water our existing seeds and the empty spots in preparation for more seeds. As we reach the general store, we see there is an errand to complete for Suki, who we haven't met yet. She wants a potato within 2 days. We have potatoes growing, but will we remember? We then head into the store and talk to Noah, who we haven't met yet, and Anne as well. Then we talk to Sam to purchase some seeds. We get cauliflower, carrots, and potatoes. Once we get back to the farm, we plant our new seeds. They don't quite fill the space, so we decide to go look for some wild seeds in the forest. Though instead, I find myself in the mine. I look around in awe before I feel an earthquake and somebody yells at me. She talks about the earth shaft and some old myths. She then gives me a sword and leaves. I head down into the mines and begin my journey. Right away, I find a copper vein. I make my descent to floor 5 as quickly as possible, getting as much copper as I can along the way and killing a few monsters. We finally make it to floor 5 around 15:30. I gather the copper on the floor with the remainder of my energy before heading home. On the way home, we spot a bug. Forgetting that we have almost no energy, we try to catch it. We succeed, but pass out in the process, thus ending day 5. We do level up farming, allowing us to make a scarecrow and fertilizer. We also level up mining, which unlocks explosives. We make a new record amount of gold with 458, mostly from crops. On day 6, we wake up in the clinic, with Charles and Yuri, the doctors, worrying over us before we are sent home. Outside our door is Pablo, the blacksmith. He explains that we can turn our ores into bars and gives us the blueprint for a furnace. We then check our mail to find the medical bill, unfortunately. Once again, a crow is stealing our crop. Right away, we make the scarecrow, as well as a furnace, and then decide to make more once I see their range. I am unable to make enough, however, so I place them down and harvest my crops. Then I start some bars in my new furnace before going to find more trash to make more scarecrows. Once I make the scarecrow and place it down, I water all my crops and empty spots, once again planning on getting more seeds. While heading into town to buy more seeds, I encounter Mayor Connor. He leads us into the community hall to talk to us about the abysmal town rank and explain how it got so low. He shares a memory with us to show us Pufferfish's connection. He asks us to do what we can to increase the town rank. We notice the stone in the center begin to sparkle as the mayor walks away. We head into the general store and buy seeds for cauliflowers, daisies, and peonies. On our way back to the farm, we meet Antonio. Then we stop into the inn, which Suki runs, in order to give her the potato she requested. After leaving, we run into Wataru, the boat captain who brought us to the island. When we finally get back to the farm, we plant the seeds we bought, water the last few spots, and make the final scarecrow. I place it down immediately to ensure all my crops are protected. We decide to head up to the blacksmith to open a coffer we found earlier, and end up catching an awesome silk moth. We also meet Bree up at the vineyard, and Luke is there as well, and Walter too. We also catch our first fly by the recycling center. Upon entering the blacksmith, we find it closed. We missed it by about an hour. While organizing my chests, I realize I have fertilizer, so I use it on the seeds I planted today, mostly the cauliflower. Then I spend the rest of my energy clearing the farm, focusing on the very much needed trash. Once I'm tired, I head to bed. And that ends day 6. We made 431 gold on crops and bugs. The potatoes were particularly good. Before I wake up on day 7, I have a spooky dream. A voice, faint at first, asks me to listen. It talks of sacred trees and asks me to visit them. It shows me a vision of weird trees around the island. It instructs me to touch the tablet to summon a mysterious them. Then we wake up. Once outside, we check the mail to find a letter from Mayor Connor thanking us for completing the errand yesterday. We harvest our crops, including lettuce and turnips, before watering those that remain. We head out into the forest and catch our first wasp. Then we talk to Jack, who owns the ranch. As directed by the voice in the dream, we head to a sacred tree and touch the tablet. It sparkles, and a strange being appears before us. He is startled by us and runs away. We almost immediately find a new bug, a red admiral. In town, we meet Paul, Anne's husband. On the beach, we meet Macy, the photographer. We catch a striped garden caterpillar not long after. I then realized it was Antonio's birthday, so I gave him my best flower, a silver quality violet. It turns out to also be Paul's birthday, so I give him a bronze quality violet. Feeling in a gifting mood, I give a daisy to Millie. Then I decide to fish off the dock. I catch a barracuda and another barracuda before heading off to find a new fishing spot. I choose the bridge next to my farm. I catch a freshwater eel, then decide to head off to the museum. In the museum, after donating the fish, I earn some glass for my 20th donation. On my way to the fishing spot by the lake, I catch a pipevine swallowtail butterfly. I also meet Emma, another new character. Then I settle into my fishing spot by the lake. I catch a black phantom ghostfish, a tilapia, another black phantom ghostfish, and finally a red snapper. In the waning hours of the evening, I clear my farm with my remaining energy, once again prioritizing trash. Finally, I head to bed, ending day 7. We level up catching and fishing, as well as gaining a heart of friendship with Antonio, Jim, and Paul. We make 399 gold from crops, forage, fish, and bugs. Not a bad day. And there's our first week. I was initially going to do a month per video, but this ended up a lot longer than I expected, so we're going to go week by week. Means we're very close to the second week, but you'll just have to wait. I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you so much for watching, and like, subscribe, share, turn on notifications, do all those lovely things, and have a great day.